welcome to Select Arcane. I'm prepping this aster sculpted by Brigitte Eberl. And if you know anything about these resins, you know that the prepping on them is wild. I'm not here to talk about how to prep this model because I already have a video for that. But what I am here for is to show you one little trick. As you can see here, this aster has no hooves. They're just flat on the bottom. If I ever needed to lie him down at a show, the judges would definitely see that he has no feet. So I want to carve out some proper hooves for him and make it a lot easier for my finish work artist of choice to paint them. So let's get started. First, I'm using a dremel. I'm using a smaller rounded off bit, and this is a Model 3000 dremel. It's nothing fancy, but it definitely gets the job done. Using a reference off screen, you can take a pencil and outline the shape of the hoof that you're going to be carving out. But what I'm doing is I'm actually doing the outline with the dremel itself, going very lightly, of course. I go around the rim of the hoof, making sure to leave the hoof wall, the white line, and then coming up to the bulb of the heel down into the frog to carve that out. And now I have a nice template to carve out the sole of the foot. The hoof kind of looks like a squared off heart, I suppose. So taking my Dremel, I take it down layer by layer. I'm not going too hard and I'm going nice and slow. I'm also carving a little bit deeper than I'm intending to have it end up as, because there's a few more steps afterwards that I'm going to explain later. It's a bit of a slow process, so I'm speeding up the video. And as you can notice, I'm not chopping this video down so you can see how long this actually takes and how patient I'm being. I just go layer by layer, go back and forth, nice and slow. And once I feel that I'm happy, I take a thick brush and I dust off all that resin dust. Looks pretty good, but we have a lot more to do, and there's 3 other feet to finish. I did already start on one, as you probably noticed, but I still have the others to do. Why don't I just finish that up? Be right back. After those hooves are cleaned, I'm going in with Ouyouni epoxy sculpt. Unfamiliar with it? It's a 2-part epoxy that you mix together parts A and B in equal amounts. I'm wearing gloves because as you mix it, it creates a chemical reaction, and that will allow the epoxy to solidify over 2 to 4 hours depending on the temperature of your studio. The warmer it is, the faster it works. I pick off a little bit and apply it to the hooves. The tools I'm using are called clay shapers. They're also known as color shapers from other brands, and if you notice, the tips are different colors. Black is the firmest, white is the lightest, and gray is kind of in the middle. I prefer gray personally. I wet my clay shaper down with a little bit of water, but you can also use rubbing alcohol, and I press down that clay onto the horse's hooves and I start shaping it. Too much water and the clay becomes too soft, the epoxy becomes too soft, and it'll start sloughing off. That's alright, just wait for it to dry a little bit. Move it in the shape of the horse's hoof. Make sure to leave the rim of the hoof or the wall as the highest point. Try not to put any on that tippy top. Instead, fill in the sole where we already carved and build up the wall of the frog, that's the triangle. It doesn't have to be terribly pretty, but do the best you can. It may take a little while to get in the groove, but remember, you have between 2 and 4 hours, and as it starts to cure, the firmer it is, the more detail you can add. I'm pretty happy at this point, so hold on, I have 3 more to do. Alright, I'm back. Looks pretty good, but we're not done yet. I need to carve, sand, etc., but that means I need to wait until they cure, so that's another 2 to 4 hours. So we'll check back in then. It's the next day, and yes, I'm still in my PJs. The hooves are now solid and cured, and it's time to file. I'm using a diamond code file that I got from Amazon, and it's a little bit on the flat sides, and I use that to file down and level the foot. I want to make sure that after all that work I just did, I want him to still stand properly. So I file until the frog that I added is level with the hoof walls on the outside. And I also try to take down any lumps or bumps. I use my brush to dust away all that extra powder, and I go in with a 180 grit sanding sponge to start refining. It really smooths down more of the bumps, and when I'm done, it allows me to see how far I've come. There's a few areas that still need some work, and I can't really get in there with the file, so I take my Dremel out again. It's not so much about removing material as it is reshaping it at this point. I'm very, very careful to carve out the foot again, carve out the bars, and make sure that frog is really defined. Using the same file, I'm also able to carve away, to some degree, the foot as well. Epoxy itself is quite soft and you are able to carve it, and it's the same with resin. Resin is kind of soft and crumbly, so you're able to carve that as well. I go back and forth with these techniques, the file, the Dremel, and the sponge, dusting in between to see where I'm at. And I always make sure to see if this resin is still standing on all 4 feet or if he's starting to get tippy. Looks good, so I proceed. When I'm really happy with the sole of his foot, I go around the outside, making sure there's not extra epoxy on the hoof wall itself, and I clean up the bulb of his heel. And there we have it, fresh feet. You can do this exact same technique with carving out ears as well, and maybe one day I'll make a video for that too. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram @SelectArcane or on Facebook with the same name. Thanks for watching. Bye!